Welcome, kind and esteemed viewers. This is your bestie lady Phemy Chatterington. Are you ready for the latest dose of saucy scandal amidst the illustrious ton? Do get comfortable and join me for a spell. Pour yourself a cup and let's sip on some hot English tea together. And please don't be shy when tempted to reach for the biscuit tray. Sometimes you need something a little sweet to wash away the naughty from your palate. My dearest besties, I have the most scandalous tale to share that would make even the most seasoned hearts flutter. Lean in closer and prepare your ears, because these tidbits of scandal will be sure to rattle your teacups and have you clutching your pearls from the audaciousness of it all. Well, my dears, it seems Miss Caroline Ashford can't seem to stay out of trouble. The last we heard of her, she was causing quite the stir amongst her peers with her radical stance on the recent servants' rebellion. So much that many mammas were cautioning others about inviting her to any future luncheons, concerned that their events may be ruined with inappropriate conversation about the latest political upheavals. I will admit that Miss Caroline is free-spirited, and her passionate nature is not commonplace for a young lady of her standing. However, I do believe strong-willed people like her are necessary in the world today. Otherwise, how will anything ever change? Her dear mother always confessed at having her hands full with Miss Caroline, and the moment she entered society, it was clear she possessed a rebellious nature that set her apart from the other young ladies of the ton. While others perfected their waltzes and embroidery, Caroline's heart raced with a longing for adventure, travel, and the complete opposite of what was expected of her. And it was this very fiery spirit that led her to develop a most fervent infatuation with setting her cap for Mr. Daniel Ramsey. Oh, the lovely and elusive Daniel Ramsey, the epitome of quiet elegance. His auburn hair and brooding brown eyes forever masking a shyness that many mistook for apathy. As the second son of the immensely wealthy Viscount Ramsey, Daniel had always been content to live in the shadows of his other brothers. Yet it was this quiet demeanour and elusive presence of his that ensnared Caroline's heart from a very young age. And on the occasions that their families would socialise, she found herself enamoured, captivated by the mystery that surrounded him, and her thoughts often wandered to the possibilities of drawing him out of his shell. Well, Caroline's relentless spirit knows no bounds. Because on the night of Lord and Lady Dumont's midsummer's ball, Miss Caroline devised a plan as audacious as it was daring. She knew that the grand conservatory at the estate, with its lush greenery and intoxicating blooms, would provide the perfect setting for her scheme. As the music swirled and the laughter of the ton filled the air, Caroline set her clever plan into motion. She managed to catch Daniel's attention when he suddenly saw her running away from the ball in the direction of the conservatory. His immediate reaction was one of concern, and he quickly followed behind her. And it wasn't long before they were both alone. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine, and the glow of moonlight filtered through the glass panes, casting an ethereal light upon Miss Caroline, who was wiping a tear away from her eyes as she turned to face his direction. "Is all well, Miss Caroline?" he asked with curiosity. "Mr. Ramsey," Caroline began, her voice a perfect blend of innocence and allure. "I must confess, I find this conservatory to be a most enchanting place, don't you?" Daniel, caught off guard, nodded. "Indeed, Miss Ashford. It is quite peaceful." Caroline took a step closer, her heart pounding with anticipation. "Peaceful, yes, but also a place of secrets, don't you think? A place where one might confess thoughts they would never dare speak aloud in the light of day." Daniel's brow furrowed in confusion. "I am not sure I understand your meaning, Miss Ashford. I should go. I only wanted to inquire after your welfare." As Daniel turned to leave the conservatory, however, Miss Caroline boldly reached out and took his hand. "Daniel, I must be honest with you. I have admired you from afar for as long as I can remember. Your quiet strength, your gentle spirit, they have captured my heart." Before Daniel could respond, Caroline leaned in and pressed her lips to his. It was a kiss filled with all the longing and desire she had harboured for him. The moment, however, was suddenly shattered by the unmistakable gasp of Lady Hertford, the ton's most notorious gossip-monger, who had witnessed the entire scene. Within moments, the news spread like wildfire. Caroline's mother, immediately alerted to the situation, rushed to the conservatory, her face a mask of shock and dismay. Daniel, now caught in a compromising position, knew he had no choice but to declare his intentions. In the midst of the ton buzzing with scandalous whispers, Daniel, always the gentleman, stood tall. "I declare my intentions towards Miss Caroline Ashford," he announced, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "She will be my wife." The days that followed were a whirlwind. The ton was abuzz with the details of their union, and Caroline's audacity was both admired and envied by many. As for Daniel, he initially felt indifferent to the matter, viewing the forced engagement as a necessary consequence of the incident. But as he spent more time with Caroline, he began to see the depths of her spirit and the genuine warmth of her heart towards him, despite the scheme she devised to ensnare him. He found her persistence toward him somewhat flattering, because despite Miss Caroline's eligibility and beauty, he wasn't certain he would have ever had the courage to pursue her himself one day. For Mr. Daniel Ramsey, it was easier to stay a quiet enigma than to come out from behind the shadows. It was during one quiet evening, as they sat together in the drawing room, that, with vulnerability, Daniel finally voiced his change of heart. "Caroline," he began, taking her hand in his, "I must confess something. When this all began, I indeed felt trapped, as though I had no choice in the matter. But now, I truly see you. You have opened my eyes. Your bravery, your spirited nature, they have touched me deeply. I had once resigned myself to being alone because it was easier than engaging in the complexities of society, love, and courtship. But now," Daniel paused to gather his thoughts, "I am no longer indifferent. I am truly grateful for your boldness, for it has ultimately brought us together." Caroline's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Oh, Daniel, I'm so glad to hear you say that. I have adored you for so long. It is more than I could have ever hoped for." And so, my dear besties, who would have thought that what began as a scandalous tale of a rebellious debutante trapping a shy nobleman would result in a happy outcome after all? Caroline's determination and Daniel's newfound appreciation for her fiery spirit has truly blossomed into a successful love match. I'm certain in time, the rumours and speculation surrounding their union will die, and the evidence of their love for one another will shine through in the end. This is all the saucy scandal I have for now, kind and esteemed viewers. So until we meet again, keep your teacups full and your ears open, because the ton never ceases to provide an infinite supply of delicious scandal. And I wouldn't live up to my namesake if I never shared it with you, now would I? All is fair in love and war, they say. Until next time, my dears.